Hey everybody, Seth with Everyman Prepping, and I haven't done a video in a while out here in my outbuilding slash barn, whatever you want to call this place. I enjoyed out here, no noise from the house, peace and quiet. I can hear the chickens running around, so I figured I'd do one today. I kind of miss being out here, and you're probably wondering what this is here in front of me. I'll get to that in a minute, but as the title said in the thumbnail, this video is going to be on a prepper challenge and looking forward. Looking forward is getting into some of my predictions for 2024, what I think might be happening in this upcoming year. I've got them here, and I'll go through this in a minute. But let's first talk about the prepper challenge. Now, the challenge is for you to challenge yourself. The prepper is to challenge yourself. And the challenge is to learn a couple of skills. One or two new skills that you don't know how to do now, or something you want to pick up in the first part of this year. Because I think in the latter half of this year, you're going to need whatever skills you pick up. Now, they could be in the medical skill, learn to do some medical stuff. They could be in repairing or reworking and self-defense, doing stuff like that. Could be in gardening, food preservation, hunting, fishing, whatever it is, learn a couple new skills. Now, what I want to do to challenge myself, I want to learn how to weld. I thought that'd be a great skill to learn, not only to build stuff, as I'll explain in a minute here, and to repair things. I think it's a barterable skill that if I get decent enough at it and people need things fixed, I can weld for them, trade it for other stuff. I got to make sure you have a backup generator, some way to power the welder. What I got is a flux core MIG welder, very basic, beginner, teaching myself, watching videos, see if I can maybe take a class to learn for real. But I think it's a great skill to learn, so that's what one of mine that I picked with. The other one is suturing. I've done a little bit in the past. I'm really gonna get to it because, no doctors around. I need to be able to stitch myself up, other people up, family members up. I could barter that skill as well because, if doctor's not around, you get an open wound, you're gonna need someone who knows how to close that up. So that's the other one. Now with the going on with the welding, so what I have, and I'll put a picture up here while we're talking. What I'm doing is I wanted to make a fire pit that when I talk about OPSEC was kind of hidden. You couldn't really see, maybe conceal some of the light, the smoke. And so I was able to get my hands on a cement planter, big round one, free, someone getting rid of it. Great things to do if you're out there, look for free stuff. But it was a cement planter, but I needed a grate. I needed, a grate on top of it so I could put, cast iron pans, pots, my canner, whatever. Didn't want to buy one. Like I said, I've learned how to weld, so I welded one. Now, I know those of you out there weld are probably cringing because, are you supposed to weld rebar? No, this isn't the type you weld with. There is a certain type. This isn't it. And I'll hold it up here. I don't know if you can see those welds. But are they good? No, they're horrible. They're my first ones. Like I said, not really supposed to do the rebar, but you know what? It works. It functions. I stood on this and it holds my weight. It'll hold a pot of water. It'll hold a lot of stuff, and it's going to get the job done. And that goes into you need to be a jack of all trades, master of none. Because you need to know how to do a lot of stuff. You need to know how to do, like I said, repairing, welding, fishing, first aid, growing food, preserving food, self-defense, all that stuff. Because if you're a master at one, like you're a sharpshooter, you're a marksman, but you can't do anything else, not going to make it. So part of my, like I said, the jack of all trades, just started. I'll get better, but that's what I'm challenging myself to. Pick something you'd like to do yourself. Don't master it. Learn how to do it. Put a couple tasks, because I think in the last half of the year, we're going to need it. So hopefully this inspires you. I was kind of inspired making this, I made some with my hands. It works. It's going to function for me. It'll do me well. So, hey, I was pretty happy with it. Right down below, what skills you're going to pick. What are you going to do to pick up one or two skills this first half of the year? While you're doing that, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Share the video, comment, all that great stuff. Now let's get on to talking about what's going to happen here. Coming in the future, predictions, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to go through a few subjects. And a lot of it doesn't look so great. There's a couple of good points at the end, but let's start with war, because I think it's going to just pick up. First of all, the United States, it's losing its world power status. It's losing its bully pulpit. We're right now in the Red Sea. Iran comes in with some ships. The USS Eisenhower aircraft carrier goes home, leaves. Were they scared off? Was it just a rotation home? Doesn't make any sense as a rotation home. What's going on there? You think they'd stay there? Iran's using it as propaganda, saying we scared the Americans off. Don't know what is really going on, but no longer do we scare people. Yemen's out there shooting drones and missiles at ships, commercial, Navy. Not a single attack. There's big talk of an attack going on through UK and maybe US. Nothing still. So United States is going to get picked on more. When you got that bully on the ground, you know, the people, everybody that's been bullied in the past are going to start jumping in and piling on. I think you're going to see that. They're going to be piling on. The Middle East, it's going to expand. You know, just today, you had Israel kill another leader of Hamas inside Lebanon in Beirut. Hezbollah's pissed off. There's a speech tomorrow by the leader of Hezbollah, Nasrallah. He's going to give a speech. We'll see what he says. So I think that's going to escalate more. Russia with Ukraine. You know, they said they want to take all the way to Kiev, all the way to Odessa. I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think Ukraine can stop them. So does NATO get involved? Does it escalate further past there? I don't know, but it will pick up. It's not going to stop. It's not going to go to peace anytime soon. Leads into China. Recently, Xi Jinping came out and just said, of course Taiwan's going to be reunified. It's going to be brought back to the motherland. Of course it's going to happen. And I think it's sooner or later. I think it's this year. Didn't happen in November. Another good time is April because of the currents and the storms in the Taiwan Straits. We'll see, but I think 2024, that's going to happen. It's going to happen before the election. Taiwan right now in January is having their own elections. And I don't think China's going to wait until the U.S. has their elections because they don't know what's going to come out of it. They don't know who the new leader is going to be, the stance of the United States. I look for that to happen before the elections start. That leads to the last one. I want to talk about the nuclear option, nuclear EMP. Is it a possibility? It's always a possibility. Is it probable? I don't know. I run through both in my mind. EMP is more probable than nuclear war. Tell you the truth, I don't know why China, North Korea, even Iran right now that has the new ballistic missile out, Russia. I don't know why they really haven't EMP'd the United States. You know, when someone's falling down, you know, it's the perfect time to do it. So it would tell me, I'll tell you this, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we get hit with an EMP attack, you know, first strike to really take the U.S. out. That way China does what they want in Europe. I mean, China does what they want in Taiwan. Russia does what they want in Europe. Iran goes after Israel full bore without the United States to have to worry about. You got Venezuela and South America. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it happened at all. And so, you know, I'm trying to prepare accordingly. Nuclear, I don't know, because then you got radiation fallout. You got, you know, I don't know if there's really going to be a nuclear attack. What does Putin or China or North Korea have to get out of, you know, let's say North Korea, you know, nuking South Korea? Well, you got radiation right next to you. Why would you do that? You know, your lifestyle's pretty good. You know, you're higher up, your elites, they're all doing well. Do you want to irradiate the earth? I don't know if that's really going to happen. I could see more in the EMP stance because the radiation's up above the atmosphere. Doesn't really harm the earth as much. You know, maybe in some rainfall and whatnot, but I don't see nuclear attack as something that will happen. Is it probable? Is it possible? Yes. Likely? I don't think so. Moving on from there, let's talk about financial. The U.S. dollar, you know, BRICS expanded just in January 1st here. It doubled. You know, Argentina backed out with their new leader, which I think for Argentina is a mistake. They're back in the U.S. dollar. I think they didn't pick the winning horse on that one. But you got what? Egypt, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, and the UAE. They all joined. There's 10 members strong now. They're going to go for the kill shot of the U.S. dollar with a currency of their own or commodity-backed one of their own. The Fed is going to have to start turning that printing machine on once the reverse repo money's gone. They're going to start QE again, quantitative easing, buying tons of bonds, putting tons of money out there. You're going to see inflation coming back. So expect that. There's no soft landing coming. There will be a recession. It's going to happen. You're going to see layoff spike, stock market. I know it's flying. Everybody's like, it's always up. Stock market always goes up. Well, that's going to come to an end too, unfortunately. So that's the financial picture is not looking good unless you own precious metals. So you own silver and gold, that's going to do well, I think. You're finally going to get the time for the precious metals to show their value. So the dollar dies, those are going to go up. So if you have any silver or gold, that'll really help you out. You know, save it until then. Save it when the dollar dies. That's when you have your silver and gold. For those out there saying, oh, you can't eat silver and gold, you can't do it. No kidding. But you know what? I can trade it for it. I can always trade that silver in for something, whatever denomination of money is out there at the time, convert it and spend that and buy whatever I need. So don't listen to the people out there that are in the group of, you can't eat your silver. Yeah, no kidding. All right, moving on from there, we have civil unrest. It's an election year. We know that. You thought 2020 was crazy. It's going to be worse this time. Some people say, might even be election. I don't know if there will or won't. I think there will be a lot of protest, riots, all kinds of craziness that'll happen this year because of the election. I don't even know if the leading Donald Trump will make it. You know, he'll be the nominee, I believe. But will you make it to the election? I don't know. Well, you know, something else happened. Who knows? But it's going to be a crazy year for the election. Like I said, I think China and a lot of other things are going to happen before the election because they don't know what will happen. There's going to be a lot of civil unrest for this election coming up. So don't be where the civil unrest is. You know, get out of the cities. If something's happening in a city, don't go to the city. Do whatever you can to avoid it. Don't be where the problem is going to be at, because I think there are going to be a lot of them. They're in there to talk about the southern border with civil unrest. You know, there's a lot of people coming across that southern border, and I got to be careful how you say it here, because, you know, YouTube likes to take your video off the rotation if you don't say the right word. So we'll just say there's a lot of people coming across that border right now, and are those people all going to be, you know, supporting the United States, back in that, or are they here, you know, as part of another group to do something else, we'll say. I got the feeling that, you know, that October 7th thing that happened in Israel, where Hamas came across and did a lot of action, you know, would that happen here? I don't know. It could. There's a lot of young military-age fighting men coming across the border lately, so, you know, look out for that to happen. Look out for something that, you know, might be sporadic, spread around the country, but that's all happening for a reason. And it's not just because there's a lot of amnesty that needs to go around, put it that way. Now, along with the civil unrest, could this be a way for, another way to put this that YouTube won't give in, where, you know, a certain law is enacted by the government to marshal people and to enact certain restrictions on movement, freedoms, and all that? Could that be enacted this year because of the election? Yes. It could be something that happens. So yes, you need your self-defense tool. You need your pantry stocked in case you need to hole up for a week, 2 weeks, a month or two, in order to the situation to pass or for something else to happen. So look for that to happen based on the election and other things going on. So that's civil unrest. Not good under the civil unrest part. I don't think we're all going to go back to just having a great time with each other. There's too much division. You know, there's that new movie coming out in April we all talked about earlier. You know, something about, you know, Americans choosing sides. So possibility as well. On from there, last doom and gloom one I want to talk about, and that's going to be the sun. Okay, and how's that going to affect us? Well, remember I talked about, you know, I don't think there's been nuclear bombs dropped because the radiation of that, and do world leaders want to really deal with that? Well, I wouldn't say I have a hope, but if something like that's going to happen, I'd rather that a CME hit us. Now, we are in the height of the maximum, right, the solar maximum. You know, it's an 11-year cycle. We're at year 5 now, 2024. The beginning was 2019. At the height of the cycle is when solar flares happen, big filaments can erupt and come out, and CME is possible. And if you watch my other video I did between a CME and an EMP, you'd much rather the CME happens, because a lot of small electronics, like, you know, the camera I'm talking to you on and other small devices, ham radios, things, would probably survive a CME, which make it a lot easier. But it would destroy a lot of other electronics out there. Your car might even work, but the grid will go down, other stuff will fail. And, you know, there's a lot of days I think that, you know what, a CME is kind of what the Earth needs. You know, a reset. Because if you had that, do a lot of the wars stop? I think so. Because nations, you know, it's going to be a worldwide effect. Nations are going to pull back in to take care of their own country. Would you have the threat of nuclear war after that? No. Would you have threat of escalations? I don't think so. Would it cause problems within nations? Yes, of course. That's why you have to prepare. But I think a CME and, you know, the effects of that afterwards would stop a lot of this chaos we have in the world that could escalate into a nuclear problem. And that's a possibility. Like I said, there's you know, some suspicious observers channel out there, some other people that think in the 2040s there will be a, you know, solar micronova, which will, you know, basically have a little eruption and take out most of the planet, you know, a lot of the planet at that time. Before that will be what they call, you know, a solar kill shot, take down the grid. It'll happen either, if that happens, it'll either happen in this solar cycle or the next. The next one would be, you know, the high of the next one would be 11 years from now. So you're talking 2035 or so. If it's going to happen, I'd rather happen sooner rather than later. And why is that? Well, for me, I'm not getting any younger. So, you know, I'm at the age now where I, you know, I've prepared enough, I think, and can be able to take care of the family. But, you know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if it happens, I'm at the age where I won't be in the, you know, enough peak physical fitness to do some of the stuff that's going to be necessary. So let me know your comments below about, CME, EMP, if you would have a preference either one, if one of them is definitely going to happen, what would you do? Effect, would you rather have it come sooner rather than later if it is going to happen? But those are my thoughts on that. Along with the sun, as you know, the sun impacts, it controls most of the weather on the planet. We're not going to talk about what other people think control most of the problems we're having, but the reversing of the poles, which is going on right now, and the solar cycle, it's causing a lot of weather problems. And there's going to be a lot of weather catastrophes, I think. There's going to be, hurricanes will be more, floods will happen more, earthquakes, all that stuff, there'll be more. So you got to be prepared for natural disasters. They will pick up. And like I said, it's not because whatever people says it is, it's what I think is the solar cycle and the pole shift. Whatever you think the cause of it is, it's going to happen. Prepare for it. There will be larger and bigger natural disasters in this coming year. So do I have any good predictions? Well, let's see. One of them is food shortages. I don't really see that being a problem. We are a net food exporter in the United States. If you're in another country, that might be more of an issue, maybe in the UK where you don't produce as much, maybe some other countries, but there seems to be enough fertilizer. That's not an issue anymore. There's seeds, there's fertilizer. Besides the weather, I think there will be enough food grown. There might be shortages of a type of food or a certain brand, but not the actual food, maybe not the one you want. But I don't see a food as a problem. Also, you'll have the ability yourself to grow it. Like I said, there's fertilizers, there's seeds available. So take the time, grow some yourself. Now, would it be too expensive? Will it be an economic shortage? Yeah, there might be some of that. So you got to then, like I said, supplement with your own. If you're really struggling, you got to hit up churches, food centers, places that give away food, that donate. Keep those in mind when you're out there because they're, always willing to help you. Might as well hit them up. So food, I think, might be, not what you want, not in the quantities you want, but I can't see huge shortages really coming on the food side. The other prediction I have is side hustles. They'll be needed because the layoffs coming up, other things, you're going to need a side hustle. Maybe my side hustle will be welding. Who knows? But, find one. There will be opportunities. They will happen. Now, especially if you have the ability to have some side cash, when people are selling their stuff, you can resell it. Find ways for a side hustle to either gain some extra fiat currency, some extra money, or goods. I think the opportunities will present themselves this year. A lot of them will come up, and you need to seize those. So that's all I have. That's my kind of predictions looking forward for this year. It's going to be intense, both in the war, election, civil unrest. And so, like I started the video with, pick a couple skills that you want to practice on, you want to get new on, learn them now before it's too late. Challenge yourself. What can you do? If there's two of you in the household, they're both independent, maybe you pick 4 skills, all different ones. So then, you have a lot of bases covered. Put down below in the comments, like I said earlier, what are you going to do for your skills? What do you think you can do? What skills do you think are the best to barter with, that you trade with, that you can help people with? And anything else, your predictions. What do you think will happen? Your predictions for 2024 on anything I talked about or your own. Write that down below. And like I also said earlier, hit that like button, share, subscribe, comment, all that great stuff. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.